I couldn't help but notice there were a couple of players we didn't show during that montage of great players. Why is that?
Time constraints.
Seems reasonable.
Blinds are now 40 and 80,000. Faraz Jaka picks up queens under the gun and raises to 175k.
Faraz Jaka has picked up more ladies in a pink limousine.
David Bernstein folds. Philippe du Toit with ace-9 in the cutoff.
As per usual, he's about to get action with them.
Du Toit reaching for raising chips. It's a 3-bet to 380,000. Goldman passes. Tony Gregg has 8 in the small blind.
Tony shoves. It'll likely save Philippe some money. He's only got 20 bigs.
All in.
Well, he does move all in, and he's picked a bad time. Mark Drovers folded the big blind. Back on Faraz.
How much is it?
If Faraz calls this and loses, he'd be left with not much more than 20 bigs himself. But still, I'm pretty surprised I'm still talking, and he hasn't put the money in yet.
Tony's girlfriend has been joined on the rail by Christian Harder.
Maybe Faraz is stalling to try to get Philippe to call behind. Obviously, his only two options are a 5-bet all-in or a flat call to try to get a ton of action.
Or whatever happens, I think we can be pretty sure that Philippe du Toit will muck the ace-9. Faraz elects to fold.
Oh, Faraz just took the old never trust a guy with 2 first names thing way too far.
Greg got very lucky there.
You just must think Greg is only doing that with hands that have him beat most of the time.
Xuan Liu has pocket 4s.
Baby pair, early position, final table. Honey Badger don't care, and neither does Xuan Liu.
She raises to 240,000.
Oh boy, this could be what we call a 2012 setup.
Oh, Julius with queens, and he calls.
Just calls, very, very sneaky. Kyle's balancing the pants out of his range right now.
Should fold it around to Ruben Visser in the small blind. He'll muck, and Faraz Jaka will give up the big blind. Heads up to the flop. Julius with a commanding lead. King high flop.
Xuan will likely have no idea what she's up against. She pretty much has to c-bet this flop.
She does, 325,000.
Obviously no way Kyle can fold for just 1 bet. And even though it's a long way off, he does have a big club in his hand as well.
He makes the call, and with nearly 1.4 million in the pot, we go to the turn, which is the 3 of clubs.
Now that club matters. Let's see if Xuan slows down.
She checks. Now Julius checks behind. No club on the river.
The river improves no one's hand. Xuan might sometimes have the winner, but she couldn't really get value from it.
She checks.
Kyle, on the other hand, could get value out of a few hands, including the one Xuan's holding.
Going for chips. The grays are 100,000, greens 25,000, blues 5,000. That's 420k he's just bet.
This is a super small bet, and I don't think it's meant for value. Kyle's got about the best hand he's ever going to have in this spot. He may be trying to induce a bluff, and it looks like it's going to work.
Xuan Liu has decided to turn that small pair into a bluff as she check raises to over 1.5 million.
Unfortunately for her, I think Xuan's almost never going to have a value hand after taking this line. Should be an easy call.
Call.
He does call.
Played it perfectly, brah.
He wins a 4.5 million chip pot.
Calvin Anderson sweating Xuan. Sweating a little harder now.
You had the ace of clubs in your hand?
No, she did not. Maybe not such a genius play.
Did you even consider folding?
No.
Really?
What are you raising? You're raising the ace of clubs.
I need 2 pairs.
I mean, I bet small, make it look like I had something like queens, so you could possibly raise me. I don't know. I just didn't see a check raise coming.
Okay, now just shh.
If you have a flush, I think you're gonna bet the river.
I don't need to have a flush to raise for value.
Well, I get it, but I'm just saying. I think you're betting the river with any of your value hands.
Dude, I already said all that. Get it quietly.
So Daniel Negreanu got a min cash in this event. 4 players remain competing for first prize of more than $1.25 million. Jack 6 under the gun for Jonathan Duhamel. Former world champion makes it 55,000. Dan Shak has King 6 on the button. He mucks. Victor Blom has Ace Queen suited.
You would usually expect a 3-bet here from a player out of position.
Victor calls.
Very sneaky. This is Victor's way of pre-flop trapping.
Galen Hall gives up the big blind. We go heads up to the flop. Jack 5-7 with 2 hearts.
Action flop. Victor's checking to the original raiser. 2 overs and a flush draw is usually a time when you want to get more money in.
Jonathan bets his top pair. We can see that with those 2 overs and that flush draw, Victor is a statistical favorite.
Of course he's not folding. He could even raise for value against Jonathan's range.
He does raise, makes it 215,000.
If he knows Jonathan's never folding a pair, a straight draw, or a smaller flush draw, then he's way ahead of Jonathan's range. Nut flush draws are good, okay?
Jonathan is going to re-raise, makes it 386,000.
Now, even though it might look like Jonathan's turning his hand to a bluff, Victor would sometimes have worse hands and often have worse draws in this spot, so he's pretty much also raising for value against Victor's range.
Raise.
4-bet coming.
5-7-5.
575.
And a cheeky Swedish smirk.
You think he likes his hand?
I'm all in.
All in.
Jonathan shoves.
75,000. Jonathan moves all in.
Yeah. I call.
And Victor calls.
I think Victor's going to like what he sees. Jonathan can't like this. He's going to have to dodge more than Tony Blair at a press conference.
Well, Victor has 15 outs twice, and Jonathan Duhamel is the player at risk. He needs those jacks to hold to survive. 7 of hearts on the turn, but a jack or a 7 will see Duhamel reclaim the lead. 4 outs for Jonathan, a 10% chance of survival. Victor's flush holds. So Duhamel exits in 4.
Yeah, man. Good luck, Victor. Take it down, man. Take it down, man. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, man. Good luck.
And remember,
Good luck.
Duhamel entered this tournament twice, so his profit is slightly reduced.
I don't think this tweet really expresses the gravity of that hand. It needs at least 2 or 3 more use.
Where do I go now?
Duhamel folds under the gun. Alberto Brenes, 10 deuce. He'll muck that. First hand at the table for Sam Stein. He has ace jack in the cutoff.
Big ace, folded around, seems fairly ob.
Makes it 17,000. Also with ace jack, Mike McDonald on the button.
Mike McDonald with the same hand, but better position.
First down. Push us around.
And there's a 3-bet from Mike to 42,000. Scott Sievers folded the small. Daniel Negreanu has queen 10 of hearts in the big.
Daniel's not one to fold, let alone suited Broadway cards.
Just can't see. Oh, thank you. No problem.
You know those glasses he keeps in his pocket? You might want to consider wearing them.
Thinks he has 2 queens right now.
Wow, a 4-bet from Daniel to 96,000.
This might seem a little crazy, but these two will be getting out of line some of the time from those positions, and if someone does call this 4-bet, Daniel's got an okay hand and the betting lead at least.
Well, Sam Stein, the original raiser, has folded. Mike Timex McDonald not going anywhere fast. He's bringing back his 3-bet, and he's making a 5-bet to 150,000.
Can't see.
Re-raise 150 makes it a total 150,000.
Yeah, can you see that stare down?
Are we going to see a 6-bet? A call.
Daniel makes the call.
Daniel's immediate pot odds are pretty good, but I think this call is going to get him into trouble.
I check.
He checks in the dark, having called a